Okay folks, so with this Snare Saturday video, it is time to do another comparison. Now, if you have been following the Snare Saturday series, then you're aware the last few videos have been all about bronze snare drums, specifically the Ludwig Bronzephonic. Now in this Snare Saturday video, it is time to do another comparison. However, you're gonna have to use your ears to see if you can hear the difference between a Ludwig Bronzephonic and a Ludwig Black Beauty. Yo, what's going on everybody? Nick Costa here, and in this video, it is time to see if you can hear the difference between a Ludwig Bronzephonic and a Ludwig Black Beauty snare drum. The Black Beauty is considered the upper echelon elite snare drum that is offered by Ludwig, which is often imitated and never duplicated. Now the Ludwig Bronzephonic is a bronze snare drum, which is supposed to provide you a darker, warmer overtone than brass does. So in this Snare Saturday video, we're gonna do a blind test where you're gonna have to use your ear to see if you can hear the difference between the two. Now before we dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. That way you're notified of any additional content that I upload to the channel. So in the last few Snare Saturday videos, like I mentioned, they were all featuring the bronze snare drum, specifically the Ludwig 5x14 Bronzephonic. Started out with you just hearing the drum by itself in a few different tunings, and then I was releasing videos where we were comparing the drum to some other metal snare drums. So you got to hear this Bronzephonic against a copperphonic, as well as a Bronzephonic against a chrome over brass, the Bronzephonic compared to a vintage rocker bronze snare drum, and even a late 60s supraphonic, which is a highly sought after snare drum because one, it's a supraphonic, and two, everybody says the supraphonics from the late 60s have a unique sound that you cannot get with any other drum. Well, being that the supraphonic is one of those upper echelon snare drums, it just made sense to make another comparison video against the Ludwig Black Beauty. But to make it a little bit more interesting, it's going to be a blind test, meaning you're gonna have to use your ear to see if you can hear the difference, which is something that I've mentioned multiple times so far in this video. So let's go ahead and dive into the specs of each drum, starting with the Bronzephonic. This is a 5x14, that is depth by diameter, 1.2 millimeter seamless bronze snare drum. It is outfitted with 10 double-sided tube lugs, 2.3 millimeter triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom, Ludwig's P88 AC and P35P butt plate. Finally, the drum heads are the stock drum heads from the Ludwig factory, which are Ludwig branded Remo heads. I'm pretty sure it is a coated ambassador on the top and an ambassador snare side on the bottom. Finally, the drum is outfitted with a set of generic Ludwig snare wires. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the specs of the Ludwig Black Beauty. This is the 8x14 model. Once again, depth by diameter. As a matter of fact, I got this drum when Ludwig released an 8x14 Black Beauty back in 2017. It is a 1.2 millimeter black nickel over brass snare drum. It is outfitted with 10 double-sided imperial lugs, 2.3 millimeter triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom, Ludwig's first iteration of the P88 AC throw-off and P35P butt plate, and the drum heads on the snare drum are my preferred heads of choice, which are a Remo Ambassador X coated on the top and an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. Finally, this drum is outfitted with a set of Vic Firth vintage snappy wires by Canopus. These are the 20 strand model. So in this blind test, I am going to play each drum through 3 different tunings: a low tuning, a medium tuning, and a high tuning. I will play both drums back to back, and all you have to do is listen and see if you can identify which drum is which. So let's go ahead and get started with the first listen in this blind test, and rather than it being a blank screen, which would be super boring, here's some more royalty-free B-roll. All right, so you've had that opportunity to hear both drums through 3 different tunings. Go ahead and leave your guesses in the comment section below, because that's way more fun than scrubbing to the very end of the video where we reveal what drum is which. But if you need to get another listen to these drums, let's go ahead and do this blind test again, and let's go ahead and cue that royalty-free B-roll. All right, so you've had that chance to hear both drums through 3 different tunings 2 times. Did your assumptions or your guesses change from the first time you heard everything to the second? Or did the second time you did this blind test confirm what you believed the first time? Either way, leave it in the comment section below, letting me know what drum you think is which. And now the moment of truth, it is time to reveal what drum is which. So I'm going to take the video that goes along with the audio and put it all together for you, because that's way more fun than me just telling you. So let's go ahead and reveal which drum was which. Now that you've been able to see which drum is which, were you right? Or were you surprised by the results of this video? Either way, leave that in the comment section below and let me know. Now yes, there are a ton of discrepancies between the two drums. Like I've mentioned earlier, You have the Bronzephonic, which is a 5x14. The Black Beauty is an 8x14. The Bronzephonic has double-sided tube lugs. The Black Beauty has double-sided imperial lugs. Now both drums have 2.3mm triple flange hoops, and both drums have the P88 AC throw-off and P35P butt plate. However, the Bronzephonic is the modern version of those two, and the Black Beauty is the first generation of them. So they are a little bit different between one another. And then, of course, they both have different snare heads on them. The generic heads on the Bronzephonic are the Ludwig branded Remo heads, which should be a coated ambassador on the top and an ambassador snare side on the bottom, whereas the Black Beauty has a coated ambassador X on the top and an ambassador snare side on the bottom. Now, although both drums have ambassador snare sides on the bottom, that ambassador X is slightly heavier than an ambassador. So although they're going to have similar sound characteristics, the Ambassador X might be a tad bit drier. And then, of course, they both have different snare wires. The generic Ludwig snare wires on the Bronzephonic are going to respond and react a whole lot differently than the Vic Firth vintage snappy wires. But either way, it's all about whether or not you could identify which drum was which and which drum you like the sound of more. Maybe this video just proved that the discrepancies that you had about each drum didn't really align with what you were hearing. Or maybe it did, and it confirms that you were able to hear the difference between the two. Either way, I would love to get your feedback and what you thought of each drum and which drum was your preferred drum. So make sure that you leave that in the comment section below, letting me know. Now, if you have any other additional questions on either drum or any other questions, maybe the gear that I am playing or how I tune each drum, you can leave that in the comment section as well, and I will try my best to answer them. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see the earlier Snare Saturday videos where I featured each drum individually through a few more tunings, I've put links to those videos in the description below. And if you want to see all of the other Snare Saturday videos, I put a link to the playlist in the description below, and I'll also have it come up right here to make it a bit easier for you. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. That way it makes it a little bit easier for others to find it. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video on Can You Hear the Difference Between a Ludwig Bronzephonic and a Ludwig Black Beauty snare drum? And until next time, see you later.